What's up guys, and welcome back to Sonic Labs, and in this video we'll be going through the LALA or LALA by Analog Obsession, so let's get into it. So the LALA is basically the software emulation of a very popular analog hardware unit called the LA-2A by Teletronics, and the LA-2A is basically a optical tube compressor. So an optical compressor basically uses light as a reference. So as the signal passes through, the voltage increases and decreases according to the dynamics of the sound, and so does the intensity of light. The light is detected, and the moment of the brightness of light determines the amount of attenuation taking place. In terms of characteristics of the sound that we get from optical compressors, they are usually very transparent and have very low levels of distortion, so you have less of that analog noise, as they say. The attack and release time are relatively slower, along with a very soft knee, so you can say that this compressor is not really that intense, so it won't crush your sound. In fact, it will just give you the subtle balance in the dynamics of your sound, along with a very subtle warm tone. So all these characteristics make this plugin really versatile and transparent, so the amount of compression that it does is really subtle. Basically, it can be used on anything you wish. People sometimes use it on drums, on guitars, bass, or pianos maybe. But the most popular use of this plugin is compressing raw vocals at the very initial stages of mixing. So what it basically does is it will catch those small peaks that you have while recording. It will just attenuate them, but not that intensively, so the vocals still sound natural. And since it has a slow attack time and a slow release time, you will get small transient peaks in your vocals, so it sort of enhances the transients of the vocals, so it makes them more expressive and warm. At last, being an emulation of a hardware unit, analog hardware unit, it will also give you a subtle warm tone to your sound. Now let us have a look at the plugin itself. I'll go through each and every settings that it offers, and we'll exactly know how to use it. So first of all, we have the two main knobs, the peak reduction and the gain knob. The peak reduction knob is simply the threshold, so higher the value, more the compression you get. The gain knob is nothing but the makeup gain, so once you have compressed the sound, you can just gain match it to the original. We also have a small switch which switches between two modes, compress and limit. So when you engage the plugin to limit mode, it will work as a limiter. We also have an external sidechain option, so you can use this plugin to sidechain to different instruments, but I usually don't recommend that. Now we also have a filter section, so the HPF knob is basically the high pass filter, so it will cut the low ends. The MF/MG will set sensitivity of the compressor for mid frequencies. Next we have the HF, which is the high filter, so it will set the sensitivity of the compressor for the higher frequencies. We also have oversampling option available for this one now. So to activate oversampling, you just need to click on the Analog Obsession logo, and once the logo turns red, the oversampling is being engaged. Lastly, we also have a power button, so when you activate this, the plugin will be bypassed. So this is considerably a very easy to use plugin, since we don't need to really get involved with the filter section, and I usually don't use it for external sidechain or limiting. So the only feature that I think is most useful from this is compressing your sound. Not very intensive compression, but just the basic leveling of the sound and to get the warm tone from the plugin. So all you need to do is just adjust the peak reduction. The meter will basically show you how much the signal is being attenuated, and once you are satisfied with the value, you can just gain match the output signal using the gain knob. I would also recommend using it in parallel with vocals, because it gives the vocals that very bright tone, and while using it in parallel compression, I like to use it really intensively, so I go really high with the peak reduction value and I just increase the gain until it sounds good enough and natural. So now we'll go through some examples where I'll be using this plugin and show you how it sounds. Now I have chosen vocals, guitars and pianos, and as I said, we can basically use this on anything we want because it's not that intensive, but I would recommend using this on sounds which are not really transient intensive. So if you don't want your transients to be lost or be affected that much, you should basically use this plugin. So before we move on, please consider subscribing to the channel and hit the like button if you are enjoying the video. So the first example we have is for the vocals. So here it is.
Jagged metronome of typewriter keys. A simple thought brings you to me. And I'm thankful every day. I'm so glad I found you the old-fashioned way. In a time when we want it all, everything so fast, write a text, no time to call.
Next I have this guitar sample. At last we'll use it on pianos. I forgot to mention that this plugin is actually frequency specific, so the transients that you get will also depend upon the frequency of the sound. So if you have something which has prominently higher frequencies, then you'll get more stronger transients from the sound. In conclusion, the LALA is a really awesome plugin and a very good emulation of the original unit. We definitely get to hear the similar sound from the original LA-2A unit, and just like other optical compressors, this is also very versatile and less intensive. It will give you a very transparent sound and also help you balance out the dynamics of the sound at the same time. As I said, you can basically use this on any instrument you want because it's not that intensive, but I would definitely recommend using this on your vocals because it really helps in taming those peaks that we get while recording a sound, and at the same time it will not sound that digital or really hard on your recordings. It manages to give a very transparent sound, and it also gives you that warm tone that you get from optical compressors.